Religious and spiritual. Religious and spiritual are often used interchangeably, but they can have different meanings. Religion usually refers to a specific organized system of beliefs, practices, and institutions, often centered around worshipping one or more deities or beliefs in a higher power. Spirituality, on the other hand, can refer to a broader sense of connection to something greater than oneself, encompass religious beliefs and practices, and exist independently of any specific religious tradition. To sum up, religion is often more focused on the belief in a higher power and the practices and institutions that come with that belief, while spirituality is a more general term that can include religious practices but is more focused on an individual's sense of connection to something greater than themselves. Advantages and disadvantages of being religious. Being religious can have advantages and disadvantages, depending on the individual's beliefs and practices. Some possible benefits of being religious include a sense of purpose and meaning in life. Religion can provide people with a sense of meaning and purpose, which can be especially helpful in difficult times. Community and conflict. Pros: a sense of community. Many religious practices are communal and can give people a sense of belonging and connection to others who share similar beliefs. Cons: conflict with others. Some individuals may find that their religious beliefs conflict with the opinions of others, which can lead to tension and conflict. Guidance and dogmatism. Pros: a sense of guidance. Many religious beliefs include guidelines for living and moral teachings, which can give individuals a sense of direction and guidance in life. Cons: dogmatism and close-mindedness. Adhering too strictly to certain religious beliefs can lead to becoming dogmatic and close-minded to other perspectives, making it difficult to engage in meaningful dialogue with others. Health and dependency. Pros: mental and physical health benefits. Some studies have suggested that people who are religious may have lower rates of depression and anxiety and may be more resilient to stress. Cons: emotional and psychological dependency. Some people might become too dependent on their religious beliefs and practices, such that they become unable to face difficult situations or make decisions without the help of a religious leader or texts. Spiritual advantages and disadvantages. Being spiritual can have both advantages and disadvantages, depending on the individual and their specific beliefs and practices. Connection and community. Pros: a sense of connection to something greater than oneself. Spirituality can provide people with a sense of connection to something greater than themselves, which can be especially helpful in difficult times. Cons: lack of community. Some people may find that being spiritual doesn't provide the same sense of community as being religious does and may feel isolated. Health and dependency. A sense of guidance. Many spiritual beliefs include guidelines for living and moral teachings, which can give individuals a sense of direction and guidance. Pros: mental and physical health benefits. Some studies have suggested that people who are spiritual may have lower rates of depression and anxiety and may be more resilient to stress. Cons: emotional and psychological dependency. Some people might become too dependent on their spiritual beliefs and practices, so they cannot face difficult situations or make decisions without the help of a spiritual leader or texts. Improvement and dogmatism. Increased self-awareness and self-improvement. Many spiritual practices can help people reflect on themselves and identify their inner feelings and beliefs, which can lead to self-awareness, self-improvement, and personal growth. Cons: dogmatism and close-mindedness. Adhering too strictly to certain spiritual beliefs can lead to becoming dogmatic and close-minded to other perspectives, making it difficult to engage in meaningful dialogue with others. It's worth noting that some of these advantages and disadvantages may depend on the specific religious and/or spiritual tradition, the cultural and social context, and the specific practices and personal interpretations of the individual. Importance of religion and spirituality. It is difficult to say what is most important in religion and spirituality because different people may have different beliefs and values. For some, the most essential aspect of their religious or spiritual beliefs may be a connection to a higher power or a sense of purpose and meaning in life. For others, it may be the community and social relationships that come with being part of a religious or spiritual group. Still, for others, the moral teachings and guidelines for a living may be the most essential aspect. In general, what is considered most important in religion and spirituality can vary depending on the individual and their specific beliefs, traditions, and practices. It's also dependent on personal experiences, cultural and social context, and the subjective interpretation of the individual of the religious or spiritual teachings. It's also important to remember that it's not a matter of competition. Religion and spirituality can coexist and contribute to an individual's personal development and growth, giving a sense of guidance, community, and purpose. Challenges while being religious and spiritual. Being religious or spiritual can be difficult for a variety of reasons. Conflict with others. Some individuals may find that their religious or spiritual beliefs conflict with the opinions of others, which can lead to tension and conflict, both in personal and social relationships. Difficulty understanding or accepting certain beliefs or practices. Some people may have difficulty understanding or accepting certain religious or spiritual beliefs or practices, which can make it difficult for them to fully embrace their faith. Lack of access to resources or community. Some people may live in areas with limited access to resources or communities related to their specific religious or spiritual beliefs, making it difficult for them to practice their faith. Personal challenges or life events. Some people may struggle with their faith during complex personal or life events such as grief, loss, illness, or other unique challenges. Doubts and questioning. People may question their faith and beliefs. This is a natural process, and some may find it hard to reconcile their beliefs with the information and knowledge they acquire in other areas of their lives. It's important to remember that the difficulty level in being religious or spiritual can vary from person to person and can change over time depending on individual circumstances. It's normal to have doubts and questioning, but seeking support and guidance can help navigate those difficult times. Which one is most difficult? What is most difficult about being religious or spiritual can vary from person to person, depending on their specific beliefs, traditions, practices, and personal experiences. Some people may find certain aspects of their faith more challenging than others. That being said, some common difficulties that people may face when it comes to being religious or spiritual include difficulty maintaining a consistent practice or schedule. Some people may find it challenging to make time for religious or spiritual practices, or to maintain a consistent schedule. Difficulty in understanding or interpreting religious texts or teachings. Some people may find it difficult to understand or interpret religious texts or teachings, making it challenging to fully embrace their faith. Difficulty reconciling their beliefs with the facts and knowledge they acquire in other areas. Some people may struggle to reconcile their religious or spiritual beliefs with what they learn in other areas of their lives, such as science or history. Difficulty with personal and/or social conflicts. Some people may experience conflicts with family, friends, or community members due to their religious or spiritual beliefs. Doubts and questioning. People may question their faith and beliefs. This is a natural process, and some may find it hard to reconcile their beliefs with the information and knowledge that they acquire in other areas of their lives. It's worth noting that these difficulties can vary from one person to another, can change over time, and depend on the specific religious or spiritual tradition, the cultural and social context, and the specific practices and personal interpretations of the individual. Best practice to consider for religious or spiritual. There is no one best practice for being religious or spiritual, as different people may have different beliefs and practices. However, some common practices that may help individuals strengthen their faith and deepen their spiritual connection include regularly engaging in religious or spiritual practices. This can include prayer, meditation, attending religious services, or other practices specific to one's faith. Reading and studying religious or spiritual texts. This can include reading the Bible, Quran, Bhagavad Gita, or other religious texts or teachings. Spending time in nature. Some people find that spending time in nature can help them feel more connected to something greater than themselves and deepen their spiritual connection. Practicing self-reflection and self-improvement. Many spiritual practices include self-reflection and self-improvement. Reflecting on one's beliefs, thoughts, and actions can help deepen the understanding of oneself and the world around you. Building a community of faith. Joining a religious or spiritual community can provide support and encouragement and be a source of fellowship and connection with others who share similar beliefs. Seeking guidance and support, whether through a religious leader, a spiritual mentor or counselor, or even a support group, seeking guidance and support can help navigate difficult times and strengthen one's faith. It's worth noting that it's not a single practice that will help in being religious or spiritual, but a combination of different practices that can help to deepen the understanding and connection to oneself and the world around you and to live following one's own beliefs and values. Successful while practicing religious and spiritual. Yes, a person can be successful and practice being religious or spiritual. Many people find that their religious or spiritual beliefs and practices can be a source of strength and guidance in their lives and contribute to their overall well-being and success. Religious or spiritual beliefs and practices can provide individuals with a sense of purpose and direction, inner peace, and a sense of community, all of which can contribute to personal and professional success. Engaging in religious or spiritual practices can also bring balance, perspective, and grounding to help you face daily life and work challenges. However, it's worth noting that success and spirituality are both multifaceted and complex, and the definition of success can vary from person to person. It's also important to note that the relationship between religion and spirituality and success is not straightforward. It may depend on how the individual defines success and how they balance their religious or spiritual beliefs and practices with the other aspects of their life. It's also important to remember that being religious or spiritual is a personal journey, and success will depend on the individual's effort and approach to their faith. The most important thing is that the individual feels fulfilled and at peace with their chosen path, rather than comparing their journey to others. If you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe and leave a comment.